Russian man like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just the brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a garden and start killing. It's manifesting. The God's work like appliances, dealing in my sight like a lot.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generations discussion on the fallout from Boruto Chapter 70. And today we're going to address a major elephant in the room, which is Amado and whether or not Shikamaru is worried that everything that we've seen so far is actually going as Amado planned it out to be, and what the implications of this being true are going to be for the story going forward. Honestly, I think it's a bit of a mixed bag right here. Do I think that most of what's happened has been exactly as Amado planned? Absolutely. From the moment he walked into Konoha and began to make himself an invaluable source of information when he was being interrogated by Naruto, explaining all this information about the Otsutsuki and setting up this big brain plan to get karma off of Kawaki. From that very moment, I've consistently told you guys, pump the brakes on Amado being a good guy. There are red flags here. My reasoning was that he was giving off the vibes of being a unreliable narrator, which is a literature device authors use when writing characters or writing a story, where not everything a character says can be believed when they present new information, or when the narrator itself, someone who is supposed to be this omnipotent, unbiased third party, sometimes the narrator can be an unreliable narrator. Ways to spot this in a character or a story narrator is that the story continues to change or that information is conveniently left out, which, lo and behold, is exactly what happens with Amado consistently. He tells just enough information to make himself too useful to be removed in that situation, and he leaves out key information only to reveal it later on, and he does so in order to use it as leverage, which is one of the laws from the 48 Laws of Power, which says that you need to get others to play with the cards that you hand out. How many times have we seen Amado leave out information only to come back later and say, this was something that I already knew and anticipated? In the last chapter, Shikamaru is extremely pissed off with him for withholding the fact that Amado knew Ada's weakness and did so because he didn't want to have Kawaki harmed, which Amado confirmed to be true because for reasons we don't know yet, he doesn't want Kawaki to be harmed because he's still useful to Amado. But again, we don't know the full reason for this. This is exactly why Shikamaru called him out on the rooftop when they were smoking, stating that everything was going as Amado planned and Shikamaru couldn't prove it, but it was a suspicion that he had. Amado stated that this wasn't the case and that he couldn't have thought out this far in advance to anticipate 6 months of unexpected developments. However, let's be real here for a second. As I've said numerous times, Amado carries out several of the laws from the 48 Laws of Power and several of the rules from the Art of War. One of the laws from the 48 Laws of Power is the law that states that you need to plan all the way into the end, which is something we know that Amado's capable of. Let's look at what we know, which is a classic example of what Amado's done, which is that long big brain plan to have Ishiki Otsutsuki destroyed. Number one, Amado, as soon as he knew that Kawaki was Ishiki's next vessel, he began giving him the drugs that would slow down the extraction of Kawaki's karma. Number two, he began setting the table to have Car's inner members wiped out because the inner members would be the knights and bishops that were protecting Ishiki Otsutsuki. First, he sets up Deepa and Victor to be taken down during the events of the Car actuation arc. Then we see that he's been doing maintenance on the ninja tech inside the Car inner members' bodies, since all of them have ninja tech put inside of their bodies by Amado. When Delta is shown training in the anime, she goes off on Amado by saying that there was something different about her body, and she was specifically talking about her combat ability. We can't necessarily prove it, but you could draw a line to Delta saying something is wrong with her body and Delta overheating during the battle with Naruto, which is something that looked like it caught her off guard with. Despite all of this, the Car inner members, except for Kashin Koji, all turned themselves in for some form of maintenance, which is a red flag. Next, you had Boro, who just happened to be the one who was standing guard over Naruto when Jigen sealed Naruto up. Boro had the intention of fighting Sasuke, but let's look at Boro's weaknesses. His weakness was that the Sharingan could see his virus that was inside of his ninja tech, and Mitsuki is proof that Orochimaru's poisons were immune to this virus. Sasuke has a Sharingan that can see that virus, and Sasuke has the same poison immunity that Mitsuki has, which means that Sasuke would have been Boro's matchup nightmare. Amado expected Sasuke to take down Boro, but potentially not unseal Naruto. However, once he arrived in Konoha after deactivating Delta, he adjusted his plan accordingly in order to account for Naruto still being on the chessboard. Number 3, Amado also used Victor as blame to get Kawaki free and maneuver him into the hands of Konoha, which was going to be essential to his plan to taking down Jigen and eventually taking down Ishiki. Number 4, Kashin Koji killed Jigen for Amado, which removed Kawaki's karma and it forced Ishiki to revive into Jigen's body, which was an imperfect vessel. Number 5, he knew that Ishiki could not last forever inside of Jigen's body, and he stated that it was just a matter of running out the clock. It was basically playing keep away, keeping Kawaki away from Ishiki long enough for him not to give him the karma seal. This was basically a lot of luck right here, but that's something to be expected when you have a non-combatant like Amado. There are going to be some things outside of your control. Even for as much planning as you're doing, there are some things you can't account for. Amado went through all of these steps just to take down Ishiki. Is it really that crazy to say that he's already planned out how to interact with Code? I don't think so, and the Kage specifically warned Naruto when they said everything could be going as Amado planned and warned Naruto not to trust him. Amado is still very much a mystery figure we don't know much about, but what we do know about Amado is that this is someone who is usually a few steps ahead of everyone, and he's arrogant enough to play four-dimensional chess with somebody like Ishiki, who even Kaguya was too shook to fight head up and had to resort to an off-guard attack to nearly kill him. Amado flipping on Konoha, if it happens, is going to be a calculated move. He's going to offer some type of value to Code, and he warned us when he was in that bunker with Kawaki and Shikamaru and Katasuke during the Naruto and Sasuke versus Ishiki fight. Amado said that he merely studies the board and makes his moves accordingly. His loyalty is only to himself and whatever goal Amado has. This doesn't seem too crazy that he somehow worms his way into staying alive because he's betting on Kawaki in the long haul. The only issue with that is that he was expecting only to deal with Code, someone who Amado said was a simpleton and easy to control. You can believe that Amado considered a situation where Code would get his hands on him, especially now that Naruto's lost Kurama and Sasuke's lost the Rinnegan, and Amado likely had a plan to try and manipulate Code to stay alive long enough for Kawaki to fulfill whatever purpose Amado needs for him. However, he wasn't expecting to see Ada and Damon, and that might be Amado's biggest miscalculation out of all of this. If he flips sides to stay alive, the impact on this is that he might be used to further upgrade Ada, Damon, and Code's bodies, or reveal some type of intel that Ada herself might have missed because she was too bored to continue watching Konoha with her Sharingan, which we do know to be the case, that Ada will cut her eyes off if Ada starts to get bored with the stuff that she's seeing. That being said, I do think that most of this is as Amado expected. I think that he's got a contingency plan, but I think that that contingency plan is potentially in danger because Ada and Damon are right there, and that's not something that he anticipated. There's also a possibility whatever plan he has for Kawaki ends up backfiring. However, my question to you guys is, do you guys think this is the case? And if you're not too certain whether or not Amado is really sus, I recommend watching the videos you're seeing on the screen right now.